I expected and I received a lot of what we would call back in the Midwest book learning. I expected to come into the program and receive a certain amount of knowledge about here's managerial accounting, here's financial accounting, here's basic international economics, here's these tools, a set of tools. Where my expectations were greatly exceeded is I didn't appreciate how much currency most of the lectures were going to have. I was in an international macroeconomics class as the whole international consequence of what we call the subprime debt crisis was rolling out. And the lectures, we had the book, we had the projects, the lectures were turning out to be read the Financial Times, we're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about what this is doing to exchange rates. Similarly, my employer was actually bought out by a private equity guy by strange circumstance while I was in the core class that was dealing with that. So I would go to class at night and the professor would say, well, this is what the private equity people do. When they go in, they're going to do this, and they're going to do this, they're going to do this. Literally, the next day or the day after, that would happen. Something would happen that was directly related to my coursework. So I got the type of knowledge that I expected, but the currency and the connection to current events and what I was doing literally the next day in my day job was, I couldn't say it was totally unexpected, but it was 5 times, 10 times more than what I expected.
Well, I think, I think I mentioned it earlier. One of the reasons why I came back to school was really to try and figure out what I wanted to do. From reaching that plateau and not really understanding, where I wanted my career to go next. I wanted that core curriculum and really kind of get a feel for, what are all these different, what are all the different aspects of business that, I need to learn about, and hopefully find something that, I can say is, what I want to do, after I graduate. And, I think that particular question has been answered in my mind. I know, I enjoy analyzing operations and making things better. I don't particularly care for finance. You're making assumptions and then making numbers look a certain way. I'd rather do the operational part of it and saying, well, how do we hit those numbers? So I think from that aspect, my expectation of trying to figure out what I wanted to get out of school, has been completely exceeded. I've been going on many interviews now, specifically on operations jobs and supply chain positions. And it's actually quite refreshing for me because as an undergraduate, I had no idea what I wanted to do after I graduated. Whereas here, after going through the coursework and all the curriculum, I have a very set idea of what I want to pursue. I have a set idea of the type of position that I want, and now I can just go after it.
You guys let me know if you agree or disagree, but I mean, when I started the program, I thought in terms of jobs, you could only get into consulting or investment banking. I mean, you look at the roster and it's very still bricks and mortar companies. So for me, I guess my expectation of business school was simply to almost have like a safety net. I was at a transition. I didn't know if I wanted to go back into banking or even try consulting. But I think what was really a nice surprise was that Anderson really gave me a lot of opportunities to seek out different options. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Gene knows me. I don't think he would have ever thought I would go into entertainment. But, just being involved in clubs and taking the right classes, all of a sudden I was introduced to things that, wow, I might actually interest in, going down this route. So, I don't know. I think there's a lot more in terms of thinking about your career than simply, just, what everyone already has conceived in their heads, which is, either banking or consulting.
I think it's important. You have to distinguish between career and job. I have no doubt it's helped my career. I have no doubt it's hurt my job performance. When they tell you this is an investment in your career, they're not just talking about the tuition money. They're not just talking about the time that you're going to spend. If it isn't impacting your ability to do your day job, either you're doing something wrong or you have a miraculously easy day job. You do have to view it as an investment. So you think about the job that you're doing today and the career that you're going to have for a lifetime. And don't be surprised, shocked, and stunned if you're disappointed at, gosh, I'm not doing it at the level that I used to be able to because I'm spending 20 hours a week, 30 hours a week, however much outside of school. So there is without a doubt a near-term downside. You have to rely on having an understanding employer, or at least an understanding manager, or if you're in a switching situation, you may just have to live with that. You may just have to endure that. So don't believe that it's going to have no impact on your performance of your day job. It doesn't have to destroy your performance on a day job, but if you've been giving that something extra and more is now going to be eaten up by the MBA program.
That's a good distinction to make too between job and career. I think people coming out of school, I mean, it's a FIMBA program, so most people stay in their current position and, will get an elevated one or, just take a much larger promotion. But I don't think your first job right out of school is, the career job. I think it's important to really think about, what do I want to pursue next? And, life is long, and, any of the research and the stats that you read will tell you that you're going to switch jobs many more times, but why not have the degree behind you to allow you to keep shifting and moving to different positions? But I think people put a lot of pressure on themselves, like, this job after school has to be it, and it's not. It's just your job after graduating, and there's more to come, I think. I hope.
There will be, Anne.
Thank you, Jean.